Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD.
And we're going to bring you all kinds of fun action for the Sac Joaquin section fall playoffs. We're merging into the winter, but right now it's still a lot of fall.
Welcome back for another edition of MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee. And Joe, it is playoff time. It is championship time. A lot of the sports, their teams are raising blue banners. Yes, football is just underway, but it's an exciting time, and it's always fun to see the champs get crowned.
Oh, it is. It's a great time of year, and there are 10 sections in California. And the Sac Joaquin section is the second largest behind the southern section down there in Southern California. So the Sac Joaquin section here in the Sacramento Valley, big time in football. We've talked about that. We'll talk about that again here. But so good in water polo, tennis, soccer. Got a lot of stuff on there. And I think people will appreciate just how terrific these athletes are and how much hard work there is to get a championship, because that big blue banner sure spruces up a gym, and it looks nice in the trophy case too.
Yeah, it does. You know, as excited as those teams are to get the banner, on the other side of the field you have a team that has to lose, and they put in all that work, and there's that disappointment, but it fades away, and it's, no matter what, it's a good end of the season.
But it's beyond that. It's not to sound too schmaltzy, but getting to a section championship is an achievement. And, you know, certainly, Mike, the athletes want to win, the coaches want to win, the community, the alumni, but to get there means you're one of the select few, so there's no shame in losing. And how some of these teams handle defeat and how they handle victory shows a lot on character, sportsmanship, and how parents are raising their kids and how the coaches are mentoring their athletes.
I agree. All right, what's in this show? We've got water polo. We've got soccer section championships. We're going to talk a little football, as we do always, have some highlights. Our Placer Title Company Insiders, we'll talk more football. Our Makuni Sushi Trivia. I think we've got it all, but we're going to start off with our section championships. It's boys soccer. Soccer championships from Cosumnes Oaks High School in Elk Grove, and we'll lead off our highlights with the Division I matchup that had the longtime area power, the Jesuit Marauders, coming in as a number 2 seed, taking on the defending champions and the number 1 seed, the Oak Ridge Trojans. First half was just a lot of back and forth, several shots on goal for both teams, but neither able to put any points on the board, so this match would head to the half in a scoreless tie. Second half, much of the same until about the 55th minute, with Jack Hendon of Oak Ridge guesses when to go. And finally, we've got a score as the Trojans take a 1-0 lead, and the guys are loving it, as this could prove to be the game winner. We're going to skip ahead to just about 5 minutes left in this match. Jesuits' Mitch Johnston delivers with a header and close. That ties up this match at 1 apiece, but the Marauders weren't done yet. With just over a minute to go, this long free kick gets close enough for Jared Alameda to put a head on it from the middle of the pack, and he comes through with the goal to grab the lead for the first time in this match at 2-1, and it comes at the 79th minute. Incredible comeback by Jesuit in those final 5 minutes, not just to tie it, but to win it. And that score will hold up as the Marauders and head coach Paul Rose capture their 11th section title. For Rose, it comes in his 37th year at the helm for Jesuit. The Marauders celebrate their first title since 2012, and it was all smiles after this one.
We've had a tough season. We've had a lot of hard games. We haven't, scored like, the 160 goals or anything like that, but we have been a second half team, and we've been a team that have come back at the end of game.
They got us last year, and I just knew we couldn't let it happen again this year, and I knew that my team was counting on me to get in there and get a goal, and I put it on my head and found the net.
This team was super cohesive, and they're all friends. They all like each other. There's no bad blood anywhere. So, and that's what gets it done, I think, in the end.
All right, Mike, good stuff there. We always talk about it. The Sac Joaquin section is a powerhouse for soccer. A lot of players go on to college. Some play in the MLS. It's big time there. Jesuit, longtime powerhouse with Paul Rose. I don't think he's ever going to retire. He enjoys coaching, mentoring, winning. He likes the big target. They're back in the winner's circle. They win again. Big championship success there, and so forth. And here's another thought. Why are these games at Cosumnes Oaks? Some of the folks at Rockland, a top seed in Division II, said, why do we have to travel to the lower seed? Well, this was predetermined at Cosumnes Oaks as a neutral site. It's a great venue, a lot of room, or you can go all the way down to Stockton, or you don't play at all.
Yeah, don't play at all. I don't know if that's an option. Let's talk a little bit about Jesuit. As you mentioned, longtime head coach Paul Rose gets another championship. This is just a program, could be really the best athletic program. We've had some, like Davis girls water polo, very dominant, but how often do you see a coach like Paul Rose around for such a long time? He looks like he's in his 30s. He's not. He's definitely older.
Yeah, he's old and he knows it, and he's aged well. But no, he loves his school, loves Jesuit soccer, loves to challenge his players. His players need to be challenged. National schedule, national recruits. Everybody wants to knock off Jesuit. That's always the target there. So there's a real compliment in there. So in Oak Ridge, the defending Sac Joaquin section champion, was no easy draw. Yeah. So kudos to Paul, and hope he keeps doing it for a long time. He always jokes that the best soccer coach at the dinner table is his wife. He says she's a better coach, and so the man's got some humility too.
Yes, he does. All right, Joe, let's keep this going. We've got more section championships for you. It's now Division II. On to the Division II game now, this featuring the number 2 Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack on their home turf, looking for their second section title in 3 years, scoring off against the Rockland Thunder, looking for their first title since 2009. First half action was played even as both teams didn't see many opportunities to score, leading to a scoreless first half. Cosumnes Oaks would break up the tie at the 44th minute with this goal from the right side as the Wolfpack go up 1-0, and the CO students like that. Cosumnes Oaks continue to put the pressure on in the second half, and that would pay off again with 12 minutes left when Cosumnes Oaks finds the back of the net for a second time in this match, making it now a 2-0 lead for the Wolfpack, and everything going right. They hold on and get the shutout win and capture that second section title, and both coming in Division II. After it was all over, the celebration was on. They go 18-1-2 overall, 12-0-2 in league play, a season to remember.
It's totally amazing. The coach is great. The teammates are great. All the supporters are great. I mean, we just have a really great organization over here at CO.
This is an accomplishment for the entire Elk Grove community, not just us.
One more championship to bring you this in Division IV between the Galt Warriors and their crosstown Galt rivals, the Liberty Ranch Hawks. Galt took both regular season games. Could they do it for a third time? Well, this one would finish in a 1-1 tie after regulation, and then after a pair of overtime periods, they would need the penalty kick round to decide a winner. Liberty Ranch would go up 1-0 with this Mark Vasquez score on the right side, but Galt and Angel Corona would eventually get his shot to tie it at 1 apiece. Impressive work in the net by Galt keeper Antonio Welch. He made several big stops in that pressure-packed PK round, and it would be those stops that would play a critical part in this match because Arath Chavez would end up getting the go-ahead score here to make it 2-1 Galt. Welch would come up big one last time with this diving stop, and that ends as Galt prevails and takes the Division IV championship 2-1. It's the Warriors' second section title in school history, capping off an incredible 21-4 season. Big contributions all around for the Warriors, but none bigger than that from the man in the net, Mr. Welch.
We've put in a whole bunch of work and just hard work throughout the season, and it's come down to a game against our rivals, and we knew we had to go hard to go home.
All right, Mike, good stuff there for all the divisions. Some questions going into this championship weekend down at Cosumnes Oaks in the Elk Grove Unified School District is, why does Rockland, as the top seed in Division II, have to travel to the number 2 seed Cosumnes Oaks? It's not by design. It was a predetermined site. The Sac Joaquin section championships for different divisions have been held at Cosumnes Oaks. It's a great venue, great site. So there's no conspiracy going on there at all. But
I'm just going to mention that word.
Exactly. A lot of people think there's conspiracy going on. Yeah. But, keep this in mind. Next year, next academic year, soccer moves to the winter.
Yep.
And for girls and boys soccer, it never rains in California, so I don't have to worry about any issues there. But this is the end of an era, and I think it's good because I think we'll see a lot of soccer players, Mike, may play football and be kickers in football, whereas right now, when both seasons are going on at once, it's hard to balance. But there's a lot of football coaches who have a shortage of a good kicker. Soccer kids are excellent kickers, but it's hard to merge both sports. Next year will happen. And there's talk about having regional NorCal state championships in soccer. I think that would be great because this Sac Joaquin section, Sacramento in particular, can really play.
I agree. Well, we've got more, Joe. When we come back from the break, yes, we do have football. We do have football highlights and plenty to talk about. And we're going to bring you some water polo section championships from the Aquatic Center in Roseville. Stick around.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Preps Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from SMUD. And
can you say the very best one more time?
Okay. Not just the best, the very best of high school sports. And we're all over SacB.com as well. And Mike, we talked some soccer in the last segment. We're going to have some football coming up. Football throughout the show because football is big around here. Yeah. The very best in Northern California. But water polo is a big monster sport. We've had a lot of Sac Joaquin section Sacramento athletes get scholarships. Some have played in the Olympics. So more water polo here in Placer County with the championships. What do you think? What do you see?
Well, we see a lot of the same teams every year, that's for sure.
There's a lot of good staying power with the powerhouses.
We couldn't get to all the games, of course, but we got some highlights. On to water polo now, out at the Roseville Aquatic Center, and it was a tough day for the Sacramento area teams. We'll start with the Division II girls match that had the Oakdale Mustangs seeking their third straight section championship, taking on the Del Oro Golden Eagles. This was a close match throughout with Del Oro up 1-0. Oakdale's Emily Bennett scores to tie it with 22 seconds left in the first period. Del Oro didn't wait long to answer. It's Colleen Phillips from the left side as the Golden Eagles would go back on top at 2-1. Oakdale would score the next two goals and take a 3-2 lead to the break and would eventually take this match by a final of 5-4, giving the Mustangs 3 straight Division II section championships. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the day came in Division I, where St. Francis beat Davis on the girls' side 6-5, ending their string of 6 straight section championship losses to the Blue Devils. As for the boys, the Davis boys, they also lost, coming up short to Lodi.
All right, Mike, good stuff there. I want to know, were you filming in the pool or just on the outside of the pool?
Well, Joe, I got in my swimsuit and I jumped in the pool.
That's a frightening thought, yeah. Speedo, endorsed by Speedo.
No swimsuit for me. Yeah, congratulations to water polo champs, Joe, but there's some game on the gridiron that people talk about.
Yeah, we talked soccer in the first segment, but the other football is Sac Joaquin section football playoffs, and you bounced around a little bit.
I did, bounce around, saw some teams out there in first round action, and we got your highlights. We've got 2 games to bring you, and we're going to start with Division III, where the number 3 seeded Intercom Tigers played host to the number 14 Lincoln Fighting Zebras, and this game was all Intercom from the beginning. Lincoln with the ball when quarterback Eli Garcia looks over the middle, but he's picked off by Nate Tupe, and from there, Tupe, he's going to take it all the way for the score of pick 6. And after the mixed extra point, it would be a 6-0 start for the Tigers. Still in the first quarter, Intercom driving when quarterback Trajan Cotton, he's going to keep it himself. He trots in for the easy touchdown. They attempt a 2-point conversion. It's no good, so it's now 12-0 Tigers. Late in the first quarter, Intercom continued to score at will. This time it's Raekwon Turner finding nothing but wide open space to run. He's going to go 86 yards for the score to make it 18-0. This time they get the 2-point conversion with Cotton finding Josh Follow. It's now 20-0 Tigers, and they would go on to roll Lincoln in impressive fashion by a whopping 82-32 score, and will now take on Manteca in round 2 this Friday. We'll wrap up our highlights with a terrific game in Division II, where the number 12 Whitney Wildcats made the short drive over to Loomis to take on the number 5 Del Oro Golden Eagles. With the score tied 14-all at the half, we're going to pick it up in the third when Del Oro's Camryon Davis punches it in for the score to put Del Oro on top at 21-14. To the fourth quarter now, Whitney is going to answer back. It's quarterback Hunter Rodriguez going right, then he looks left and finds Brandon McCarter down the left side. Wildcats touchdown, and just like that, we're tied again, this time at 21. A minute later, Whitney and Rodriguez come up big again. The slant to Devin Brachini puts the Wildcats on top at 28-21. On Del Oro's next possession, they go to the air big time as Stone Smart goes up top to Trey Udofia, and that is a touchdown. Perfect pass by Smart and a nice catch by the Colorado commit. That's going to tie the game at 28 with 7:23 left to play. Del Oro would have the ball late in the game, under a minute to play, and made its way down the field to set up what would be this Davis run up the middle, putting Del Oro up 34-26. but the extra point is blocked. However, Del Oro's defense would come up big at the end, fend off a great effort by Whitney, and secure a 34-28 victory, advancing to Friday's round 2, where the Golden Eagles will head to Vacaville to play Wood.
All right, Mike, good stuff there. You can see there's a chill in the air now as the playoffs start to heat up. And check SACB.com. We've got all kinds of coverage there, stories, recaps, photo galleries. Also on MaxPreps.com, we have a playoff preview that still has a lot of weight because it has a lot of B-roll and big picture analysis there and all that. But not only is it football and soccer and all these other fall sports stuff going on, but there's more athletic moves with a signature for a lot of fall athletes, and we bounced around some of that too.
Yeah, we have not mentioned letter of intent signing ceremony events that went on last week, and yes, we were out there. We had our camera, and what we were going to do is in the coming days, coming weeks, we haven't figured out exactly what week it'll be, but we will have a full show dedicated to those letter of intent signing ceremony interviews. We'll talk big picture about how far it's come. You and I will.
Why it's so special, and why are these ceremonies happening? And real quick, 1% of high school kids across the country get a scholarship. That's why it's a big deal.
So we'll have interviews with the athletes. We'll get their thoughts on what the day meant to them. Some of their coaches, they work hard to get those athletes to where they're at. So we'll cover letter of intent signing day in a bonus show coming up soon. We'll let you know more about that. Joe, so we're halfway through the show now. We haven't forgotten too much here, but we still have plenty more. Placer Title Company insiders will talk big picture on the idea of a conspiracy theory sometimes in high school sports. We'll explain that more.
Or the perceived conspiracy,
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas so many coaches, athletes, parents, and alumni are convinced that somebody's out to hose them, whether it's the media or the section governing bodies or their league or their own teammates.
And we'll bring you our Makuni Sushi trivia question later in the show. Don't go away.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Preps Sacramento, powered by our good friends SMUD. And we are going to talk football here in a moment on big picture stuff, specifically that there is no conspiracy out there to hose teams, coaches, athletes, or whatever, but we hear this stuff all the time, this nonsense and all that. First, let's do a quick trivia question from our good friends of Makuni. You ready?
Well, it's your trivia question this week. You're going to toss it up.
You don't even know what it's going to be.
Are you going to ask me the question?
I'm going to hear this.
Okay, let's go.
We talked about Paul Rose of Jesuit Soccer in the first segment, championship coach there, big great success. If he's the winningest coach for soccer in Sac Joaquin section history, who's the winningest baseball coach in the Sac Joaquin section all time?
Ooh, I got it.
You probably know. It's like you're like Horseshack from Welcome Back Kotter.
Well, I can't give you the answer because we got to bring that in the next segment. Yeah, I'll think about it. All right, Joe, let's move on to our Placer Title Company insiders. Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. And Joe, what we're going to do is talk about that word that just rubs us the wrong way, conspiracy. It's really come up a lot this school year. You hear it more through emails. I hear from time to time. What is going on? There seems to be a paranoia in high school sports.
There's more rampant paranoia and suspicion, whether it's from athletes or coaches or assistant coaches or athletic directors, schools, alumni. Everybody thinks somebody's out to get them. And we understand that people like to be motivated and inspired, to go after a win, and there's got to be a battle cry. But some of it's absurd. When the Sac Joaquin section or the North Coast section or the Central Coast section, any of those have committees to select football playoff seeds, they're out to get us. It's because we don't want to do realignment, so they're out to screw us and they're out to hose us. That's absurd. That's absurd. The Sac Joaquin section or the North Coast section or the Central Coast section, they don't have time to sit there and, let's stick it to Camp Alindo. You know what, Placer? We don't like your mascot. We're going to make you travel or something. That doesn't happen that way. No. And you brought up a good point. We were talking about this, where if these coaches are feeling this kind of heat and pressure from parents, then why relay the same message to others?
I agree. As one question I had is, you and I have a chance to talk to athletic directors and coaches all the time, and yeah, it's no surprise a lot of time they're going, oh, these parents, some of these crazy accusations. And then we hear this stuff from athletic directors to someone else, and or to us, and we're thinking, well, that's exactly what your parents do. So I don't know. I think the biggest gap here is just communication. Once people know the facts and know that's not going on, there is no conspiracy.
This is high school sports, and what I've learned is everybody in a playoffs, whether it's basketball playoffs or football playoffs, they all want high seeds. They want to be able to host games, and they want to play nobodies until the section final. It doesn't work that way.
And if you're fourth place in league, whatever your league is in, you're probably not going to get a high seed.
Right.
All right, Joe. One more segment to go. We're going to bring you our Mikuni Sushi trivia answer. I'm not sure if I've got it, but if I don't, you'll have to tell me. And we'll put a wrap to this big playoff show.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
All right, we're back for the fourth and final segment, usually our best segment, since we're bowing out here.
I'd say they're all good.
We are MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by our good friends from SMUD, and we are the very best NorCal show on high school sports. We try to give you a big picture view on what it means and why it matters and all that good stuff. And we're all over SacB.com as well. You've got bonus shows right and left here on MaxPreps as well. There's such a great region here, and we just can't feed our appetite enough.
Let's remind folks of that. Again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, letter of intent signing ceremony interviews. Yes, we were alive. We were out and about. We're going to have a full show dedicated, a full 30-minute show to interviews with athletes, coaches, find out why it's such a big day, how long it's come. That's going to come in the next couple weeks. We'll let you know. And also, hopefully, you got a chance to see our football playoff preview show. Of course, we killed it. Some bonus shows at a busy time, and you got to do it. Joe, you had a trivia question last segment. Repeat that question and then give us the answer.
Yes, the Mikuni Sushi trivia question, talking about coaches. So in the first segment, you talk about Jesuit soccer back in the section finals again. Paul Rose is the all-time winningest soccer coach in state history. Our question was, who's the all-time winningest baseball coach in section history and NorCal history? You thought Jeff Carlson. He's got a lot of championships for Elk Grove. It's actually Guy Anderson, coach from 1970 through last season for the Cordova Lancers, with a lot of wins. I can't remember how many it is, but it's 950 plus. But
I think guys out there going, what's wrong with you, Mike? Don't you you didn't guess me?
It's concussion.
Hey, hello. Anyway, Mr. Hall of Famer Guy Anderson.
Yes.
Good one. I like that one.
Yeah,
little baseball flavor. You bet.
Big Red and Big Red. Cordova was known as Big Red back in the day. Jesuit likes to fancy itself as Big Red uniforms, Big Red achievements.
And by the way, is Guy Anderson now with Capital Christian?
Guy Anderson is involved with Capital Christian Baseball. That's a small school superpower in Sacramento, and he's kind of a roving instructor, leader on how to play the game for all levels. It keeps him involved. He loves it, and what a home run hire, literally. By Capital Christian to bring him into the fold.
Very smart. All right, Joe, busy week this week. Volleyball playoffs, round 2 of Sac Joaquin section football. This is round 2 is the round where it really kind of intrigues you, because that's where you can have an upset, I think. Sometimes you get these section semifinals, you end up seeing the same teams. It's always round 2 that intrigues me.
Yeah, and this is where you tend to see more guts and guile, meaning, do you go for 2 and end this game? Mm-hmm. You can't be ultra conservative, because there is no tomorrow, not to use the old cliche, but these are knockout rounds. So now it gets good. And earlier we were talking about how a lot of these coaches and athletic directors think there's a conspiracy in the seedings, and we're seeded too low. We're seeded second, we're too low. Well, that kind of nonsense. But The pressure, Mike, is on the home team. If you're a home team, you're supposed to win. That's kind of a theme at all levels of athletics. Well, there's pressure to win. And so it's the road teams who are kind of house money.
And the crowds go up a little bit more. But again, it's for me every year, I really am intrigued by round 2 because you see the matchups, you go, well, these teams really should win. But once you get to round 2, you start, I see a better matchup there. So I'm always intrigued by round 2.
All the brackets are on MaxPreps.com. Yep. We got all kinds of extra stuff on SACB.com and easy to follow along.
Yes, before we know it, basketball season has technically started, but it's almost here. Thanksgiving's almost here. Fun time of the year. All right, quick plug, where can they find you?
SACB.com. Every day we have something, and also on Twitter, SACB_Joe D. We try to keep on it as quick as we can, as much as we can. If you got any photos or something that you'd like to share with Twitter, throw us a handle.
I like it. All right, folks, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.